Bafana Bafana have done it, people. After all the heartbreak of the Mokoena situation, after the draw against Zimbabwe, they had the most clean sailing day, and Bafana Bafana have qualified for their fourth World Cup in their history, the first time outright qualified since 2002, and the first time they'll be playing at the World Cup since 2010 when they hosted it. I mean, what a moment for South African football. What a moment for Hugo Broos. What a moment for these players and for South Africans who have believed in this national team or who have believed in the local league. You know what this win is for, people? African football. This is a win for trusting in the local league, developing the local league, developing players within your country. And look what it has brought Bafana Bafana. A spot back at the World Cup, a third place finish at the AFCON last year, and right now they're going to qualify to the World Cup. And I don't want to hear about expanded format bullshit. I don't want to hear it. Bafana Bafana have been a top team, a top 5 team in Africa the past 2 years. You watch the style of football they have played with Hugo Broos, it is exhilarating. It's absolutely a joy to watch South African football. You know, I don't really watch a lot of the local league, hardly at all. I don't really get to watch a lot of Mamelodi Sundowns or Orlando Pirates in the CAF Champions League. So when I watch these players play at the national team level, I'm like, wow, the football from the South African league must be a joy to watch. And it's like, you see how they have developed their play. I think one thing you really have to credit, yes, the FA have made some mistakes, especially with the Mokoena situation, is they are really financing into developing young players, giving the young players a chance. I mean, if you look at the lineup today, all 11 players play in the local league. That's a testament of how good the teams have gone to a team like Mamelodi Sundowns, to Orlando Pirates, but they even had a defender who was playing for TS Galaxy. I've never heard of this team before. Nendamane, who's only had, 2 or 3 appearances with the national team, he started today because Mpokazi, the 20-year-old, got a stupid red card, but he was excellent today. Namane was today for South Africa, but I mean, you look at the overall squad, it's like they got ballers, man. I'm just so happy for South Africa because I've been watching them the last couple years. I didn't have a lot of hope for them going into the AFCON last time around, but when they beat Morocco and the fashion they did, I said, you know what? These guys are actually really, really good. And then I kind of just got a much more appreciation for Bafana Bafana and the players they have. And then when Ronwen Williams did what he did against Cabo Verde, I was like, oh no, this guy is the GOAT. He's one of the GOAT goalkeepers I've ever seen. So now that they have gone to this point, you see the development of Mamelodi Sundowns doing really well at the Club World Cup, even though they went out of the group stage, but they played some fantastic football and the whole world was just, mesmerized by the Mamelodi Sundowns style of play. But when they're going to watch South Africa at that World Cup, they're going to be like, oh wait, this local league, the South African league, it's a top league. It's a top league because of, you talk about South Africa and you look at their lineup, you're like, why doesn't Lyle Foster start? Because Lyle Foster has not been good for them. The guy who started today in the striker role, Magobo, who plays for Orlando Pirates, he got a goal and assist. And he was outstanding. I thought he was really, really good with his link-up play. Then, of course, players like Apolis, then players like Nkota. I mean, they just got so many good players, South Africa. Most of them are young, but then you got the experienced players like Modao, the right back, who I've been mesmerized by Modao since the AFCON. This guy going forward, the engine he has, it's so vital to South Africa, but you got to really, all the credit should go to Hugo Broos. Hugo Broos could have easily done the cheap way out and said, you know what, let me just go for players that are playing only in Europe or just try and naturalize some other South Africans in the world. No. Hugo Broos trusted in the local league. He said, we need to do it the South African way. We're not going to cheat the system. We're not going to naturalize players. We're not going to get diaspora players. Let's trust the players we got in South Africa. That is a major credit to Hugo Broos. And he also embodied himself into the footballing culture of South Africa. I mean, he's such a good manager. He obviously won the AFCON with Cameroon back in 2017. So he understands the psyche of African football and how to, manage the qualifiers, manage the AFCONs. And I think Hugo Broos has done a remarkable, remarkable job just to play the South African way, which is enjoy the game. It doesn't have to be flashy. It's so very good passing, crisp technical ability from all the players. You look at how they score their goals. It's such wonderful link-up play. 1-2 touches, 1-2 touches. Very inventive play. And I think Hugo Broos, he just allows the players to just play the game. Obviously, he trusts in the experienced players like Modao or Mokoena in the midfield, but I think Hugo Broos has done a remarkable job, and I'm so happy that he has gotten a team qualified to the World Cup because he deserved to have managed at the World Cup. He did say before this window, if I'm not mistaken, he said South Africa are going to qualify for the World Cup, even though Benin were ahead of them. You know what? Hugo Broos is the prophet. He is the prophet of South African football right now, and the fact that they did this and there was just all that controversy about the Mokoena situation, if that was the reason why South Africa were not going to play at a World Cup, I would have been devastated. And I'm not South African. I might have the kit right now. Oh, I'm going to get the new kit, by the way. When they're dropping that 2026 Bafana Bafana World Cup kit, I'll be the number one person to buy it because they have played great football and they deserve the support. And I'm pretty sure the kit will be fire. But, you know, that whole Mokoena situation could have devastated the team. It could have demoralized them into a sense that, do we really trust in ourselves to qualify? Do the FA really want to back us? Like, that's not because of the players. That's not because of Hugo Broos. That's an entire FA situation. Somebody has to read the room. Somebody has to read the rules. Somebody has to read the situation or get some glasses and say, oh yeah, Mokoena can't play the next game. If that was going to be the reason why they didn't qualify, I think it would have been an absolute travesty. But at least it wasn't the case. And I really thought heading into these last two games, going up against Zimbabwe and going up against, obviously, Rwanda at home. Obviously, the Zimbabwe game was a rivalry. It was obviously still played in South Africa, even though it was a home game for Zimbabwe. But you could just see the nerves got to the players. I think because of the full crowd in Durban, I was like, it doesn't look like the same South Africa. The pressure was getting to them. They were just taking shots from 30 yards out. Nobody really believed that they were going to get the goal. But eventually they drew the game. Mbokazi got the stupid red card, and I thought all the players collapsed at the final minute. I said, I don't know if they're going to bounce back from this. It's so mentally difficult. And I don't know what the sort of rhetoric was from South African football media or South African media about that draw and saying, guys, we're not going to do this. Benin are going to qualify, and we're just going to hope and pray we get to the playoffs. I don't know what the rhetoric was from South African football media, but just from the outside and not really paying attention, I would have thought to myself, if I was South African, I'm like, are we going to do this? Are we really going to screw ourselves over and not beat Zimbabwe at basically with another home game? But you know what? Nigeria, they did you a favor. They destroyed Benin, and they obviously made it to the playoffs, so kudos to the Super Eagles. But South Africa did their job. When they got that second goal early on in the game, it just completely calmed the nerves of the players, of the fans, of Hugo Broos. You look at the first goal. Rewatch the first goal. Hugo Broos didn't celebrate. It's only really until the third goal where Hugo Broos was like, oh, it's actually going to happen. We're actually going to do this, people. We're actually going to qualify for the World Cup. And I think it's a testament to the mentality of these players that they didn't get demoralized because of the suspension, because of the draw against Zimbabwe, and they bounced back in the most beautiful way possible, scoring 3 past a Rwanda team that haven't given up a lot of chances throughout these qualifiers. And South Africa should have scored about 5 or 6 goals, because even though the Rwanda goalkeeper was trash today, I thought he was at fault for the first goal. They still peppered him, and he still made some incredible saves. But yeah, what a moment for South Africa. They still are going to have young players developed. They obviously were just at the U20 World Cup. They just are AFCON U20 champions. Like, this is a perfect moment for South Africa to qualify for the World Cup, get a taste for it, and then for the future, build upon it. Like a Morocco. You know, Morocco qualified for the 2018 World Cup. They got a taste for it. Their FA got more structure, and they became a top nation around the world. I think South Africa could really get to that point. And yes, it doesn't matter if your players don't play in Europe. Who cares? What they do for the national team matters the most. And what these players do for the national team, they ball out every single game. I mean, look at Mokoena. I mean, this guy, stud of a midfielder, controller, so elegant with the ball at his feet. His passing is unbelievable. Mokoena is one of my favorite players right now in the continent. Obviously, I talked about Modao, Mbule, the creative number 10 midfielder. I mean, this guy's a 5-star skiller. He can scale out any sort of player in the world. And then you got like experienced players like Morena and Apolis. But I think you got to look at the sort of future generation that's coming up here for South Africa. Mbokazi, who I talked about in the last video, 20-year-old stud. Stud. 3 caps for South Africa. And I'll tell you right now, this guy's going to easily play in Europe. Easily. Or maybe he doesn't have to play in Europe. Kabini, who plays in Molde, 21. And Damane, who started today for TS Galaxy, 21 years old. So they just have young players all over the field. You have Mofo Keng, you have Nkota. This team is just littered with young talents that are going to develop with this national team. And I think the future for South African football is bright. You look at what their local clubs are doing in the CAF Champions League. I think this is the start of a beautiful thing. I hope so, and I hope I'm not jinxing South African football. I don't think so. I think we can all see that this national team and the local league is only the start of something really, really beautiful. And now they qualified to the World Cup, and I hope for like Hugo Broos and the players. I don't think they're going to be shy of the moment. I don't think they're going to be passive. I think they're really going to take the games to the opponents because they believe in their football, and that's what's going to make South Africa actually a very dangerous team at the next year's World Cup. Don't sleep on these guys. People will laugh at the lineup and saying, "Oh, worst players in Europe." Huh? You know, the Eurocentric people. Oh my God. I would love to see South Africa against England. Love it. I would love it. I would love it. I just want to see that happen so badly because I think the game would be epic. But I think people will laugh at the lineup and say, "Oh, where's the European-based players? Where are they? Where are they? Where's the diaspora players? Who needs them? Who needs them? When you got guys like Mokoena and Mudau, who needs them?" So, yeah, I think South Africa, they are going to be a sleeper team heading into the World Cup. I think if they win the AFCON, and for me, South Africa are one of the favorites for the AFCON. If they win the AFCON, beware. But as of right now, if I have to give a prediction on how far South Africa will go at the World Cup, I think they can get out of the group. I think they're a round of 32 team, and I think that would be a successful tournament for South Africa. But people, let me know your thoughts. It's been 16 years of pain, of disparity, of now a certain rise in the last couple of years, but Bafana Bafana are finally back at the World Cup, and it's a beautiful sight to see. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who has been the best player throughout these qualifiers? How far do you think South Africa will go at the World Cup? And yeah, what does this mean for the future of South African football? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for more World Cup qualifying content, for more AFCON content, because we're going to have a lot of that sort of content heading into the AFCON. And remember to follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links, description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.